This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
You all ready for this?
This is a sham.
No.
Nope.
Y'all, just stop.
Get real.
Welcome to DBL. Hello, panel. Hello, everyone out there in the world. We're starting today with the latest from the Paris Olympics. There is some bad news for tennis star Coco Gauff. So she was eliminated from women's singles today after a really emotional match that actually came with a lot of controversy. And I'm going to dive deep here. She got into an argument with this umpire over some questionable line calls. And now she's asking actually for some rule changes. Also, Olympic officials have postponed the men's triathlon. The water quality in the river are not safe for swimming after this weekend's storm. But one of the highlights from yesterday was the U.S. men's gymnastics team, USA. They took home a bronze medal in the all-around competition. It was the first medal for the men's team in 16 years. As they said, the drought was over. And it all came down to this man right here. I know you know him, 24-year-old Steven Nedoroscik, to secure the win. Now, Steven is there only to compete on the pommel horse, no other event. And it happened to be the very last event for the entire team. So after taking off his sort of Clark Kent glasses, he completed a nearly flawless performance, sealing the team's quest for a medal. And boy, was he happy after the dismount. He's now become an internet sensation with people comparing him, as I said, to Clark Kent. Here's what he had to say about it.
I mean, that's an awesome comparison. I will definitely take that. In a way, it is kind of like that. You know, I'm a goofy guy with the glasses on, but as soon as I take them off, I'm locked in. I'm ready to go.
So he's 25 from Massachusetts, and according to his bio, he wears the glasses for comfort and superstition as opposed to using them to improve his eyesight. Al, would you like to speak on that?
Well, yeah, I weirdly have been following this story since they did their first round when the U.S. went up. This is actually the first event I saw in the Olympics. And so he was so important because, and I don't know names, but the guy that went right before him did so poorly on the pommel horse, he just stopped.
Yeah, was he from Chinese? I think he was from China.
No, it was an American.
Oh.
And so I was like, wow, our gymnastics team is in a lot of trouble. I've never seen it. Like, he just got off, and like the announcers were like, what just happened? And so when he came up, he, you know, takes the glass off, and I'm like, and this is no shade, I thought somebody was going to need to walk him to the pommel horse. I have a friend that has really bad eyesight, and he used to have to be walked onto the football field for night games. So I've seen this before. So the fact that he was able to get there and do that was amazing. I'm just shocked that it was for cosmetic reasons. I really thought his glasses were for medical reasons. So shout out to him. But Erica, he's got a brand, he's got a look.
He's taken.
By the way, he's taken.
He's taken. But his girlfriend of 8 years, Tess McRacken, was in Paris. I saw her, and he has a degree in electrical engineering, which you sort of need for like specificity, you know,
Yeah,
for that
good
kind
for
of thing.
him.
Yeah,
Good for him. You know, this is a part of the reason why I love the Olympics so much, because you watch it and like they do these backstories, and they're always so feel good. Like, I can't remember I think his name was Brody.
Brody Malone.
Yes.
The one who fell.
Okay, but before that, his whole story about his parents
living on
met in
farm.
college, and then his mother passed away. And I was like, stop. Like, I like hyperventilating, could not take it. And then Frederick Richards, Frederick Flips. And I was like so into this story.
The young black guy from Boston, right?
And he goes to school in Michigan.
Go Blue.
And he's using his platform in order to get other people who look like him interested in men's gymnastics.
And to not go to Michigan.
But it was just like, and I'm like on my phone, I'm like, okay, Frederick.
Yeah, I followed him immediately.
Like, you know, like I'm like following their stories, and then you're like watching, and then you're rooting for them, and this is all within like 5 minutes.
I know.
Like, 5 minutes, you're fully invested. So I love that part.
And he actually, his knee blew out in a fall in 2023. He had 2 patches, 19 screws, learned to walk again. So when he landed it, they went to his father, and he went, and just started crying. And
Can
I
you
was
imagine?
like, the tear, I mean, the pressure. Jeff, I want to get your take on this. You got to see this picture from the Olympics. It's going viral. This is a Brazilian surfer, and he's celebrating an incredible ride at the Wall of Skulls surf break in Tahiti. So it looks like he's defying gravity with his surfboard. He came away with a very high mark, says 9.90, which marked a new record for a single wave run. What do you think about the Olympics? What are you enjoying? By the way, it's like a terrifying surf in French Polynesia because the coral is quite high.
That picture's fantastic.
It's unbelievable.
My first thought, and this is bad, Jeff, I was like, he could start a cult because he could really convince people he is not from this world.
That was your first
That was my first thought. I
Of
was
course,
like,
it's Al.
Yeah.
I really
What a
thought
weird
that.
thought.
That was my thought.
I thought this is
My
Pulitzer.
first thought was, I think he's a rancher. I was just out of left field. I have no idea what I thought that. But yeah, fantastic. But I'm in and out of like social media and television, and when I'm with my family, I'm all in. So I've only caught glimpses of the Olympics. So I watched the opening ceremony, USA men's basketball, and a couple other things. So a lot of this stuff is
like new to you?
new to me, seeing these photos and Clark Kent. And
It's
things like that.
amazing.
Are we sure that he can't see, or that he can see?
We
without
don't
those
know because
glasses?
there are videos that we've seen him wearing strapped glasses with it strapped on during the pommel horse.
Yeah,
but he is saying on his bio he wears it for superstition and for as opposed to using them for his eyesight.
I would think like if you were like, you really needed your glasses, you leaned on that, you were almost super focused when you take them off, right? Because it
Right.
kind of blurs the crowd out and you're kind of focused on what you have to do, like Jean-Claude Van Damme at the Kumite.
Oh, right. He got the yes when he threw the dust in his eyes, and that
That's
didn't
right.
matter.
He had to just
he
focus.
trained enough.
You
He was
gotta
ready.
calm yourself down. By the way, Colin Jost and Embassy Love got the hard job of taking care of the Tahitian coastal coverage of the surfing. He actually went surfing and hurt his foot terribly.
I would say so.
Yeah, but he is actually a surfer, and he has been one of the best parts of the coverage. He's hysterical, I think.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Do surfers who are in Tahiti, do they get to go to the opening ceremonies and then they fly them to Tahiti, or do they miss it?
During the opening ceremonies, they took a shot of the Tahitian people, the surfers there. So I assume in Tahiti.
Oh, wow. So they missed
They missed it, but they said it's the farthest away from the host city ever in any Olympics.
That's what I was wondering,
Because it's in
yeah.
the middle. I mean, it's surrounded by nothing but water.
Look at Tahiti on a map.
It's nothing but
yes.
water. It's crazy. 10,000 miles away from Perry. Interesting. Coming up on DBL, stick around for today's Deal Blast. We've got bargains on everything from a high-tech planner to a steamer. Plus, we're talking with 90210's Jenny Garth about how she's honoring Luke Perry in her new clothing line. And new information about Sinead O'Connor 1 year after the singer's passing. What led actually to the singer's death? Welcome back to DBL. We've got our favorite doctor here, Dr. Coley. All right, we want to talk to you about a couple of celebrities who have recently passed and their causes of death, starting with Sinead O'Connor. So if you all remember, she died last July at the age of 56. We're now learning she died of a pulmonary disease and asthma. Wow, Dr. Coley, talk to us about the pulmonary disease she had and how it contributed to her death. So all lungs?
Yeah, it's interesting. We lost her so early, right? So she had something called COPD, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. And two things happen when you have this lung condition. One, when you think about how we breathe, we take in a breath, and then we exhale it out, right? Imagine if the air gets trapped in there, doesn't exhale. So that's called airflow obstruction. So these people with COPD can't get the air out. So you can imagine how breathless that makes you when you can't exhale all the way. You take another breath. And the second thing that happens is they have chronic inflammation. So they have mucus plugging, they have damage to the airways, so the airways kind of tear open. And so if you think about it, it affects their longevity in so many levels because their lung function is down, oxygen delivery to the tissues is down, they get frequent infections, frequent hospitalizations, and often because it's caused by smoking, it's also associated with heart disease, cancer, and other problems. So
Is there also something to be said for like you retaining the carbon dioxide that you should be exhaling?
yes, so lack of oxygen and retaining carbon dioxide, because the lungs do two things. They take in the oxygen, put it in your blood, as Dr. Jackson pointed out here,
you, Dr.
and then they help you exhale the carbon dioxide, so you can get carbon dioxide retention or poisoning.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you know, this question is kind of personal to me because I've lost a friend to COPD at a young age. Somebody that I'm close with just went to a memorial this weekend for somebody that had the same thing. And asthma, somebody that worked on this show years ago lost a family member due to asthma. And I think these are all things that people say, oh, my kid has asthma, and people keep moving. But these seem like these are very serious medical issues. So what can we do to prevent this in the future?
You know, my patients always tell me if I could do something different, I would get my lungs back. Because
Wow.
once you lose your lung function, it changes your life so fundamentally on a day-to-day basis. You're short of breath going to the bathroom, going up the stairs, or what have you. So protecting your lungs from toxins and pollutants, which we don't think about, so important. So if you smoke, stop smoking. And if you don't smoke, don't start smoking. And I'm talking marijuana as well as tobacco, cigarette smoke, of course. Second is environmental pollution. We don't think about that often.
Yeah, right.
We've had all this poor air quality here in Colorado. I mean, put an air filter in your house. And then we get occupational exposure and what have you. So just think actively about what your lungs are doing. They're protecting you from the environment, but that means that they're also the interface that can get damaged.
Wow. So I want to ask you about another star's death, because Clint Eastwood's longtime girlfriend, 61-year-old Christina Sandera, recently passed away. We're now learning that she had a heart attack that was listed as a cardiac arrhythmia. So, Dr. Coley, tell us about what that is, and is that common for a woman her age to die from it?
Unfortunately, the answer is yes, it is common. 20% of women over the age of 55 die of heart disease. Every 40 seconds, a woman has a heart attack. And so think about a heart attack, it's a plumbing problem in the heart, right? So the heart needs blood all the time. If you get a blockage and the blood is not going, that's a plumbing problem. And arrhythmia is the electrical problem that happens because of the plumbing. So I like to use the analogy, if your house gets flooded, that's a plumbing problem, but it blows a fuse on the electricity. And that's essentially what happens when you have a heart attack leading to a cardiac arrhythmia. You get a blockage, the heart freaks out, the electricity stops, and you have a cardiac arrest and you die. And this is, we hear this all too often, people dying in their sleep, people dying on the treadmill. These are cardiac arrhythmias, 80% of them preventable heart attacks with doing the right risk factor management. So for us to know that heart disease, #1 killer of women, we as women take charge of our life.
Ladies, get yourself checked out. I mean it. This is so important. This is life-saving info. Thank you, Doc, for joining us. DBL Nation, follow Dr. Coley on social media at PyleColeyMD. Also, be sure to subscribe to her YouTube page. Plus, check out her podcast, Heart of Medicine, wherever you listen to your podcast. Thanks again. Again, ladies, get that heart checked. That ticker is important. We'll be right back. Welcome back. She became a cultural icon as Kelly Taylor on Beverly Hills 90210. And today, she's busy as ever being an actress, advocate, podcast host, and now a clothing designer. Earlier, we spoke to Jenny Garth all about it. Take a look. Please welcome back to the show, Jenny Garth.
Hi.
Hey, Jenny. So we hear you're launching a new clothing line that you designed with your daughter. The line is for all ages. So I wanted to ask, which aspects did your daughter bring to the table and which did you?
We have been doing this from the get-go together, hand in hand, picking every fabric, every thread, every button, and we've just been working side by side since the very beginning. I'm so grateful for her because she really does crack the whip and keeps me on track.
I like it.
Our line includes a piece with a nod to 90210, which I'm a huge fan of. Could you tell us more?
Yes, our debut collection has some really beautiful denim pieces in it, and one of them is actually named the Dylan denim jacket. It is named after my dear friend Luke Perry. He's just been sort of like a beacon of inspiration for me as I've moved into this new chapter of my life and needed some reassuring sometimes, so I can really feel his support with me, and I am so grateful for that. And the exciting thing about the denim jacket and all the denim in this collection, it is all made from plastic bottles that were bound to end up in the ocean. So we're feeling really good about that.
That's amazing. I got to give you a round of applause for that.
Absolutely.
Thank you for that.
Very cute as well. Looking back on the 90210 and 90s fashion, what is something you hope never comes back? I'm going to tell you something I hope does.
What?
I love those chokers everyone wore on the show.
Not the puka shell.
No, just the women.
The black ones.
My daughter's wearing them already.
See, I love those. Is there something that you hope never comes back?
Yeah, the spandex and scrunchy sock combo that they put me in for the pilot. I hope I never see that again on anybody.
Your podcast is called I Choose Me, and it's all about taking time to put yourself first, which is something I can never even imagine. So, like, is this something you've struggled with as well?
It is. That the whole reason that I am doing the podcast and the clothing line all under the sort of umbrella of that mantra, I choose me, is because that was something that Kelly said, but she had to choose between Brandon and Dylan, and she chose herself. And that was such a powerful statement for me as a young girl to say, and for other young girls around the world to hear for the first time. And I wanted to sort of bring that back to the forefront of the conversation and remind people that it's never a bad idea to choose yourself. It's actually vital to your well-being. And so on our podcast, we talk a lot about the ways you can choose yourself. I share a lot of ways that I've chosen myself, and we talked to a lot of very interesting guests about some topics, some very vulnerable, very open conversations with people.
Speaking of guests, what I love about the transparency and vulnerability of your podcast is 2 of your recent episodes that were already released is with your ex-partner, Peter Facinelli, where you talked about co-parenting. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about the ways that you can do it better or the ways that have been a hindrance, and that's how we all learn. So did that experience bring you two and your families closer?
It did. I did not really realize the impact it would have on both of us and the kids. And we wanted to sort of share the experience that we had and show that, you know, it can be a struggle. And we wanted to show what it was like to come out of it on the other side. And we hadn't really even gotten there until we recorded this podcast. We hadn't really even sat down and talked in this kind of really vulnerable way about how the divorce affected each of us. And it was really, what's the word, cathartic?
Yeah.
For both of us, I think, and very healing to just put that behind us and move forward with a really open mind and just love for, you know, appreciation for one another.
Jenny, congratulations. Thank you for joining us. DBL Nation, Jenny's new clothing collection, Me, is available for purchase exclusively on QVC.com, launching July 29th, followed by monthly drops with new pieces.
How big this is going to be?
I know. Be sure to listen to her podcast, I Choose Me with Jenny Garth, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you again, Jenny. Great to see you. We'll be right back.
Thanks, Jenny.
Congrats.
Thanks.
Welcome back. We've got some great products from our friends at Morning Save. Check them out. Steph, what do you have for us today? I want to shop.
Hello, Tori. Hello, DBL Nation. We are so excited to show you the deals today. As ever, they're wonderful. So let's go shopping and check everything out. First up, we've got the Rocketbook Panda Smart Planner. This deal includes 1 notebook, 1 pen, and 1 cleaning cloth. We have seen this as high as $38 to $40.
Okay.
But we've got this for $15, which is saving up to 63%. Up next, we've got the Gillette 6-piece eyeshadow stick set Daylight Neutral Colors.
Oh.
This deal includes 6 eyeshadow sticks. These eyeshadow sticks are amazing. Because they're so amazing, we have got a limit on them, 2 per customer. These have been priced up to $70.
No.
We have got a 6-piece set for $19.99. That's a saving of 71%. Up next, we've got the Fit Pulse single motor vibration plate machine. This deal includes 1 vibration training machine with resistance bands, loop bands, and more accessories. Now, unsurprisingly, these are always a hot seller on Morning Save, but quantities are extremely limited, so do not wait to get this. We've seen this as high as $170.
Yeah, that's a big piece of machinery.
We've got this for $79.99. That's saving 53%. Our last product is the Sharper Image 2-in-1 steamer and iron.
I need this.
This deal includes 1 steam iron fabric steamer. This has been priced up to $60.
Okay.
We have got it, however, for $24.99.
Nice.
Which is saving 58%.
Nice. Head on over to morningsave.com to snag these amazing deals at the lowest prices, or just scan the QR code on screen. That will take you directly to these products on Morning Save's website. Steph, thank you so much. We love sharing your comments. This is about the Olympics. Molly says, oh my gosh, I love Steven. His Clark Kent superpower is clearly the pommel horse. Sarah says, so now we're just calling everyone who wears glasses Clark Kent. By the way, what was really funny is he like meditated the whole time while he waited, which was like almost, I don't know, it just seemed, it went on for 5 rotations. And so he would just sit there and everyone's cheering and going crazy. And finally the announcer goes, Steven hasn't moved in a while. I'm concerned, but he totally killed it. So congrats, men's gymnastics. DBL's new every day. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.